Hello. Today we're going to talk about the rhetorical situation and what it means to read rhetorically later on. So, first and foremost, hopefully this is a bit of overview from 101 or from some other English class that you've all taken. But if not, here's the information, right? So, rhetorical situation, when we talk about that, what we're actually talking about is four things. So, rhetorical situation, first we have our purpose. Now, every piece of writing has a purpose. No matter what we're writing, there's always a thought process, a goal that is actually at the end of that. So once again, purpose, goal, it doesn't necessarily have to be persuasive, although the majority of things are persuasive, even if you're using the purpose as the reading for this class period actually mentions, right, understanding genre. Even if your purpose is to tell a story, you still are trying to persuade that reader or whoever's watching it or whomever to stay with it, to be engaged, to actually listen to the entirety of the story all the way to the end. So you're still trying to persuade them of something. So the first one is purpose. You figure out what your goal is, and you have some information then about how to fulfill that goal. The second part of the rhetorical situation is audience. So, audience, there are two different types of audiences. The primary audience, which is, or who you're actually trying to talk to or trying to persuade. And then there's the secondary audience or the unintended audience, which is a lot of people who maybe are not direct stakeholders in your argument, but they're able to view your argument or read your document in some way. This happens a lot of times in literature or history or government, things like that, right? The primary audience is very direct, right? Congress people write laws, that's the audience. But at some point, a lot of, say, for instance, government documents go into the National Archives, and that ends up being public knowledge after a certain while. So there's a lot of primary audience, secondary audience, or intended and unintended audiences that we still want to keep in mind. The third part is genre. So the genre that you end up composing in, that everybody ends up writing in, is very dependent upon purpose and audience. So depending on who your purpose is, or sorry, depending on who your audience is and what your purpose is, certain genres will work better than others. And there's genres for everything. There's actually genres and genre expectations for hybrid classes and what we're doing right now with me recording this video. There's a specific genre of video lectures, and there are expectations that the audience would have for them, as well as a purpose, of course. All right, the fourth part of the rhetorical situation is context. Context has to do a lot with what's going on around the purpose, audience, genre. So who is the author of the text? What's going on in life around them at that time? Where are they? Physically located? What are their experiences? What are their backgrounds that they're bringing into it? There's a whole lot of things going on in the world that end up affecting our rhetorical situation and the purpose, the audience, the genre that we're able to go through and work in. Time is a big one with context as well. So what you want to go through and do is to keep these four things in mind as you're going through and you're writing and you're reading. So start to think, what is my purpose? Who will be my audience? What genre is best to reach that audience and fulfill that purpose? And what is going on with me, with the world, um, the direct society that I live in, as well as the outside society that I live in, or the larger society that I live in. What's going on that will affect those three choices and affect my success at doing that? Similarly, you do the same exact thing as you're reading all of these academic articles, or even the articles that you're going to pick now for your first research log. You'll go through and do the same thing. What is that author's purpose? Who is the audience? Am I a part of that audience, or am I, one of the secondary audiences? What genre did they choose to write in? How well did they fulfill the expectations of that genre? And what is their context that they're writing in? Who are they? What's their experience? What's their background? What's going on in the world? This is what it means to read rhetorically, to go through and take these things into consideration. And next, we will talk about annotating an article based on reading rhetorically. Bye.